Alrighty, so we'll let the bit rate adjust. Good morning, everybody. We're just here a little bit early getting started. We've got a really busy day today and pushing through deliverables, lots of meetings. So we're going to be really concise on the um, on the session today. Not rushing through things, staying on schedule, but also a little bit more focused. Uh, Bear with me here while I got these Sonos Ace Bluetooth headphones. They're really good and everything, but I don't know why. I got them maybe 2 months, 3 months ago, and they won't hold a charge anymore, and I'm really upset about that. Contact them. Like they hold a charge for like 30 minutes at a time. Maybe I'm using the wrong cable. I'll test it out, but you know, for these bots to take over. Like, one of the problems with being a developer is you want to just build everything yourself. And it's like even as an entrepreneur and everything, you always want to just like do everything yourself. And it's not a good pattern to you gotta work with people. Um, and of course people and suppliers and stuff like that. So totally conscious of that. It's part of part of my process, as I've said before, is that I like to, especially in the early stages of launches and stuff like that, I like to be as involved as possible in the process. That helps me really understand everything better and sequences and of course I'm diagramming things, mind mapping as I go and updating those diagrams with the team and as part of the architecture. So being heavily involved in literally every minute aspect of everything that happens is critical to um, understanding how best to fit all the puzzle pieces together. So I mean, there's definitely a method to the madness, um, but it does get a little overwhelming at times. But that's I kind of thrive off that energy, right? Um, and people don't. Really sets the tone of my morning too for like just like getting things done, and finding efficiencies and things like that. So uh, really happy with the architecture, and how that's coming along. It's critical. The agentic systems, and how they're connecting to each other, plus our own providers, right? So I think that's an important piece that, if people skip over, um, they might not be always considering the best options that are available to them and the flow of new information that comes in. That's important. But yeah, so IT, uh, I know we want to do a nice focus session today, so I'll just hand over the microphone to you. Feel free to let me know if you need anything.
Okay. Quick one. Let's check the sound first.
Microphone check.
Microphone check. And sound check. Let me share the screen first.
Yeah, sounds good.
There's a screen. Sound
Yeah,
check.
looking good. Yeah, perfect.
Cool, cool.
All right. Well,
All
I'll
right.
be here. I'll be here listening in and do your thing, brother.
All right, cool, cool. Awesome. Let's start off with the dollar index. So nothing has really changed for me um, since yesterday. Dollar index, I'm still expecting the levels I gave yesterday. Now, for me to change that, we will need to breach this high here that comes in at 108.789. If we breach that, then maybe we might go into some consolidation. Now, if you've seen how price is behaving, you can tell that January is not for the weak, right? It's not easy trading in January. And that's because in January we don't have much movement. Um, sorry, not that much movement, but there's a lot of consolidation that usually happens when we are in January. So be careful when you are trading in January because most of the time price will do things that you might not expect. Okay, there'll be a lot of consolidation. Okay, so January is actually not for the week. February, March is great, and then April sometimes is not great. Then May, awesome. Yeah. Sorry, I had to
Bless you,
sneeze.
brother.
All right. Sorry, I'm coming down with a bit of cold. So, right. So I'm expecting lower prices to 107.59. That still remains. Like I said, as long as you're above below 108.78, we're going to be looking for lower prices. It's just a pullback, and I'm expecting them to continue going lower. On the daily, actually, let me go here and use the daily. On the daily, it might, not might, to me, that would be reaccumulation and then another push down because sorry, redistribution. What's wrong? Redistribution. They distributed up here, and then I want to see another drop happen here, and then you have another redistribution, right? So let's expect them to continue going lower. And with that, I'll expect Euro to also go for the upside objective. Now, it comes in at 104, 1.0458. Yesterday, I was looking for that pullback to continue going up, but they didn't respect it. Now, if you did follow what I said, which is as it's coming down, you drop down to the lower time frame and then wait for a buy signal, right? Then you wouldn't have gotten any signal. Now, this was what led me to discover something in price action. That was back in, I think, 2020 or 2021. Now, anytime price was dropping like this, and I would just go in blindly, assuming that it's gonna go up, and then I'll buy. I realized that sometimes if I'm with the trend, okay, if I'm with the trend, price will go in my favor. But if I'm not with the trend, price will stop me out. And if I'm also trading within the week, and I'm expecting something like this to continue going up, then it will stop me out, but still be valid to go higher, right? So what I started doing was to study every single candle as it's dropping, because as every single candle is dropping, if it's gonna go up, there will be signs of it, right? There will be actual signs of it that is going to go up. So that's when I started investigating institutional how they move price. Because if price is dropping and then it never reverses to go up, and if price is dropping and then it goes up, what makes the difference between the one that goes up versus the one that doesn't go up, right? And that's when I discovered that there's always some form of a pattern that shows that price is going to go up or it's not. Then I did more of back testing, and that's when I came up with that pattern that I've shared with you, that if it's going to go up, it will be there, because there's no way it will turn without showing the last down candle, right? So if you did that, then here, as price was coming down, right, there was no kind of a turnaround for price to go back up. And it helped me to also give like a good trade ideas, because even if I give you a trade idea that buy here and go up there, I'll still tell you to wait for that kind of confirmation on the lower time frame. Because there is nothing that can confirm price is going to go up. We are not sure, we are not guaranteed price is going to go up. But when it shows that it's going to go up, there's a high probability for it to go up when it shows that it's going to go up, rather than when it's dropping and then you assume that it's going to go up. There's a big difference between the two. Okay. So when price is dropping and it confirms that it's going to go up, the probability of it going up is higher than when it's dropping and there's no confirmation that it's going to go up. Because whoever is selling, right, might have more money to continue going lower. Okay. So that's your little tip for this morning. So now I'm using this range here, which comes in on the 4-hour, because this high to this low, price never actually traded to the OT level. So I think I've thought this at the beginning of the year, that if it's coming down, sometimes they can come and take out this low and then reject and go higher. And that's what I think might happen in here. Okay, so on euro, again, as long as we are above this down candle, I'm still expecting that 1.0454 level. Okay, so again, nothing confirms that it's going to go up until it does. So until it confirms that it's going higher, it can't keep going down and you can't do anything about it. So ideally, you wait for some kind of a buying pattern and then you get in. During the morning, I was watching on the H4 for this candle to close above that. Let me draw that here. I was watching to see if we can get this candle to close above that. It's not the best, but if it did, that would have been nice for a push to the upside, but it failed. Now, if it does fail, it means that something else might happen. It can go up or it can go back down again. Okay. So as it stands, I'm still looking for higher prices. However, just patiently wait for the buy pattern to appear before you look for your buy, right? Same thing applies to euro. I'm sorry, the British pound. The range is this to that, right? And it's the same narrative. I think between yesterday and today, price has done really, or after we did our session, price has done really nothing much. But the idea still stands. We are looking for the higher prices that I gave yesterday. Okay, so use this low to this high and then anticipate a rejection to continue going higher. Hence, wait for the close on one side, which is to the upside. Then you can look for your buy. Let's move to Aussie, Australian dollar. Australian dollar is doing well because it's still holding that. And there's a reason for it. I think they were kind of moving the Euro Aussie. So this low being held and Euro taking out this low, it actually moves the Euro Aussie down, right? So I'm not saying it's going to hold. However, if it gives you the buy pattern in here, especially on the H4, if you can go and close above that, then by all means, look for your entry to go to 0.63024. And then the same thing applies to, I think, New Zealand as well. That low has been held. Hence, they are moving New Zealand, the crosses, Euro New Zealand, Pound New Zealand, and all that. Right. So the same thing, look for a buy pattern to appear, and then you look for your upside objectives that I gave yesterday. Okay. It seems to me maybe they are creating a reaccumulation. Now, when they print 2 or 3 up candles and we see a down candle, most of the time that's a reaccumulation. The only problem is we are still inside this small range. We've not seen any big move away from it yet. Okay, had we moved significantly away, then that would have been a reaccumulation, definitely. And then we'll look for the buy, just like when it's dropping like this, any up candle is actually a redistribution, and then they go down again. All right. So that's what I'm kind of anticipating in here. That it can be just 1, it can be 2, and then we reject and we go higher. Okay, so look for basically a buy idea to send price higher again. Moving on, let me bring the New Zealand card because that is still my favorite. New Zealand card, I think yesterday we were somewhere in here, and I was saying we will be looking for this level as our upside objective. That still stands. So today, watch this last down candle. If we can close above it, then that will be your protection. Then you can look for continuation to the upside. Okay, so as it stands, you can look for a buy once we close above this, and then you look for price to reach for the 0.82134. Right, I like the way price is traded. Not the best, but it's okay because it's actually happening on the weekly time frame. It's rejecting on the weekly time frame. So on the weekly, I would want to see this week close bullish, and then next week also close bullish, and that would leave. So this week potentially closing bullish like this. Sorry, this week closing, and then next week closing bullish like this, and that will leave a fair value gap in there, and potentially, if possible, we going all the way up, back up in here, and then the following month, which is February, we run higher again. Now, I'm going to give you something that can help you to see whether that is going to be the case or not. Because one of the cool things that you can do is to understand when something can happen and when it's not going to happen. Why? Because like I said, you can reverse engineer price and then see when something will happen versus when something will not happen. If you spend enough time, or if you have spent enough time, you can basically see when price was going to do something and then it failed because something was there and it did not respect. So in this case, what I'm saying is, in order for what I'm predicting to hold, this gap needs to stay there open. Okay, for this week to close bullish, this gap here needs to stay open. If this gap does not stay open, all that I'm trying to say is not going to happen. Okay, looking for price to come up here. If this gap does not stay open or they do not trade and close through it, then that is not going to happen. As long as this is like that, opened, as in the gap still is there, price will go higher. If we trade through it, then it will not. Okay. There's another pair that I think I'm looking for a move down. That is Euro Pound. And you can see the same idea here, right? The gap right there. Okay. For price to go higher, that should have stayed open, right? For price to break through it, it means there is something that is changing right there, right? This candle, then upside doesn't count. This down candle is going to break and then they're going to go lower. And that's what I think is happening. And they will come and attack this low and then probably trade to this candle's high. So I'm expecting, as you can see, if this candle closes as it is in the next 39 minutes, that's the trade idea, to look for price to reject, go lower, attack this low, and then trade to this. Okay. So those are the two cross pairs that you can look for a trade idea on if you don't want to trade the majors. Okay, so if you don't want to trade the majors, then these two crosses can be of help. I don't see anything happening on the Euro Aussie because it's a mess. Okay, it's kind of, I don't know, not nice. It's not attractive. So leave that alone. Euro New Zealand, same thing. Right now, not attractive. So leave that alone. Based on the higher time frame, they will go back up. I was expecting them to trade a little bit into discount. Let's go to a weekly. I expected them to trade into a bit of discount, roughly at least even to the 50% or somewhere here. And then we look for a buy to go up, but it's kind of stuck in there. Okay, so be careful trading Euro New Zealand or Euro Aussie because it can mess up your account if you play in here. The best one was the first, I think the second week of January when we were looking for them to come and attack this low. And as soon as they did, price rejected. All right, so be mindful if you're trading this. Moving on to gold. So the spot, I think, is going to trade in here as a form of a pullback. I don't think we are reversing because we've been closing higher for the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm expecting it to continue going higher. So watch in here. On the daily, we have a down candle there. So that will be the range. And on the H4, it looks like this. Let me sync this so you can see it. So that's the low. It's a swing low. And that will be a swing high. So that will be the current range. And we'll be expecting it to reject and go high again. So right now, if you are looking to sell, this will be a target for you. Okay. And then we will look for a continuation to the upside. Now, again, I just gave you the clue. For price to stay bullish, we need to stay above, or we do not want to see price close below this gap. Okay. Now, steady gaps. If you want to really, really dive into price, steady gaps, right? When it's going up and then when it's going down. Because this staying open price not closing below is what held price to continue going higher. This staying open and not trading through it is what held price to continue going higher. This is the same thing. For price to continue going higher, we need to stay above, or we do not need price to close through it. Because if we do, then it will not go higher again. It will rather go lower because it will just invert. It will create another gap on the upside and the price will go lower. Okay. So basically look for a confirmation as it's dropping somewhere here. Here for the continuation to the upside, which if I was to lay out, it comes in somewhere in there. Okay, so watch gold in here for a continuation to it. Preferably not there. I would rather it dips into this one for today and then reject, and then tomorrow we resume going up again and challenge this high. But like I said, I do not control price. So right now it's moving lower. So you either stick with that on the lower time frame, or you sit on your hands, wait for it to give you a confirmation, and then you look for the buy. It depends on the kind of trader you are anyway. The futures, it's similar. I think we have this gap here. On the daily, we don't have any gap on the futures. The gap is somewhere down here. So on the futures, you're going to be paying attention to this one rather. If you trade through it, sit on your hands as a buyer. If you trade the futures, if we close through this, sit on your hands as a buyer and then wait. Because for some reason, the futures and the spot is quite different. Hence, what the futures is doing might completely be different from this. Okay, so if you trade the futures right now on the H4, you're looking to be on the sidelines as a seller and as a buyer, because as a seller, we've traded to this and you might not know if they will buy again from this down candle. Now I can give you a hint that maybe likely it might not respect because of where we are rejecting from, because we are too high. So when we are high, we don't buy down candles, especially when it's reached a level like that. But if we are going up towards a level, then yes, you buy down candles. But when we've reached a high like this and it's rejecting, we really don't want to do that. So, for your own benefit, I wouldn't buy here. I would sit on my hands and wait. Preferably selling, but even selling at that level can also reject and go higher. So we sit on our hands and wait for more information. And again, it's not always every single day trading. Okay, sometimes you have to sit on your hands, which is what you need to do right now. The same thing applies to crude oil. Right? Yesterday I said, I don't think this candle is going to hold, but you can take the risk because of that equal low. And you can see they actually came for just that low and they immediately rejected. Why? Because that was equal. This one and that one. The level that is trading at, I did do some kind of lower time frame research, and I saw that that's exactly where price needs to reverse from. So I want to see price held here and then we reject and go higher. So right now, I think yesterday I was looking for them to go above this high before we look for a buy. They've actually made a new low from this high. From this high here on the H4. So basically we are using the H4 swing highs to identify when it's going to reverse. So here is when we will switch to start going high again. Now, since the week started, let me see if I can turn my weekly open on. We open is not showing. For some reason, my weekly opening price is not showing. I wanted to show you how, since the week started, we've just been dropping. Okay, there it is on the 1 hour. So when the week started, right, we've been dropping from Monday, Tuesday, and today, Wednesday. Now, when this happens, there's a high probability that we might get a Wednesday or a Thursday reversal. And since we are trading at a level, which is in here, since we are trading at a level, we are likely to reverse in there. It's just a matter of time. So patiently wait and then look for that pattern to appear before you look for buy. This morning I was watching it and it did give another scalp on the lower time frame. So we had the move up, the move down, price went up, came back down, pull back, and then it went up. That was a scalp in the morning. So again, waiting for the actual buy because I'm still looking for higher prices. And the question will be, why am I still looking for higher prices? It's because of the seasonal tendency. Okay? Every single year, there's a high probability crude oil will go higher than going lower. And since the week has been proven that we're going higher, I would want to look for a buy to go higher. So it's crucial for this week to not go through this. So I would want to see this week potentially rejecting, creating one down candle, and then next week, similar to this. Let me go back to last year, 2024. 2024. There. Here. Okay. So we go up and then we come back down for a pullback and then we continue going higher. It does not go straight up. There's always going to be some form of a reaccumulation during the course of January. And I just gave you some tips about fair value gaps. So since we are expecting higher prices, it's very important for this gap here to hold. Hence, this down candle can be the first reaccumulation, the first down candle that they buy more, and then we continue going up. Hence, this week should not close through this, and this will end up as a potential buying candle. And then next week, we'll be looking for the buy. Okay, so that's why I'm pointing to this gap, because that is within this weekly. All right, so let's see if we can get the rejection and continue going higher. I forgot to give you this pair as well. I think this pair can go for last week's high. It comes in at 1.11030. From the weekly perspective, this closed. This is a pullback to continue going higher. And we had a confirmation on the daily, proving that someone came in and bought, right? These down candles and then the immediate close that changes price direction. ICT calls it the immediate close, change in the state of delivery, right? This is the change in the state of delivery. It means that price was being delivered down, and then with this candle, the delivery changed from down to up. And that's what I was giving you yesterday regarding the closing price. Because if price closes here at 1.1045, and then the next day price closes here, which is 1.107, that is a change in the state of delivery. Price has changed based on the closing. Right? That's why we talk a lot about the closing price, where it is closing. And if it's not closing on one side, then it becomes a little bit not good. Right? So with this, you can look for a trade idea to go up to this equal high. That's previous week high, right? And we had traded down into this buying candle on the H4, and you can see it's rejecting. So I'm expecting them to expand up and go and take out that equal high. Okay. So that is that for the crosses and the majors. Let's switch quickly to the cryptos. So yesterday I was very, very happy to see that this candle was going to close above that because of the H1. Now, I just gave it to you on the previous chart. Okay. As a aspiring institutional, you want to see price from an institutional perspective, you need to be studying the chart or looking at every single candle because they are showing you what is happening on this chart. Okay. Now, if you look at what I just gave you, okay, for price to continue going higher, this gap should have held, which was yesterday. So whilst we were having our session, and I gave you that we're supposed to continue going up from this down candle, and it might come down here. If it does, it needs to reject immediately. Okay, when it goes down, it needs to reject immediately and come back above the gap. Because if it does not come back above the gap, then there is a problem. Why? Because that gap is where most of the time price will dip in to reaccumulate. They will drop down into the gaps to either buy more or to sell more, especially when it has a down candle. So when the gap is there and the down candle is there, it needs to dip into the gap and sometimes touch the down candle, but absolutely must reject and not close through the gap, especially when we've gone above a previous candle's high, meaning when we go, oops, this is a candle and we go above it like this. Okay, when you go above it like this, within this candle, this one, there will be a gap. That gap is what will sustain this candle from rejecting to becoming a down candle. So it must stay open for this candle to stay as an up candle. And then the next day, if we see any pullback, that will be where the low is likely going to form, and then it shoots up again, creating another one. Right? So if you are watching price and you're expecting it to continue going higher, you have to look at, okay, which time frame are you trading on, or which time frame are you using as price being trading higher? Because every time frame is different. I use the weekly, monthly, daily. So if daily is supposed to keep going higher, then on the H4, the gaps should stay open. Okay, so yesterday, this candle closing through this gap here was a sign that we are going to trade lower. Now, for today, on the daily, we had this as a gap by the time yesterday closed, right? So for price to go up, then this should also do what? It should stay open. Now, let's go back and then let me give you the same reason why I said price when it went up here and then rejected, I said we are likely to continue printing down candles. This was the reason, this gap here. Because the moment we traded through it, that meant we will not go higher. It means that we will continue printing down candles. Okay, so the same thing here. If we close below this today, then we will likely come back to this one again, which is basically come and attack this low. And then we can start looking for a rejection to go up. So AI, we might come back down. It has not changed the direction. Remember, we are still inside a big time frame range, which gives you a complex pullback still, because we are still inside that range. Okay, so it does not change price going higher. It's still higher. It's gonna go higher. So they might come back down and then reject and go higher. So watch AI for today. If we close as it is, then don't look for any buy on the lower time frame. If you will buy again, and I'm talking about those that are day trading, not those that are holding for long term. If you are day trading, I'm not talking to you. If you're scalping, I'm not talking to you. If you are long-term trading or holding it for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months, you are the one I'm talking to. You can hold it because I think it will still go back up. But if you are not, then best thing is to actually look to sell and then you get out. Okay. So you need to know what kind of trader you are, so you'll be able to follow what I'm doing. Because if not, then you might buy, let's say yesterday, and then right now price going down, you might be thinking, oh no, I'm losing money. No. If you are long term, then that's fine. Because this is just like a fluctuation within a couple of days. And at some point, it will come back up again. Okay. On the weekly, this down candle is where it's going to hold to send price higher. So if we lose that, that's when we go maybe back somewhere here, which I don't think that will be the case. Okay. So let's go back to the daily. Today is a key day for AI. So let's see how today is going to end. Solana, same thing. You can see I was doing some not trading. Trying to teach you what I just taught you about the gap. So on the lower time frame, it did the same thing with this candle, the rejection. It couldn't close above, and then on the lower time frame, it did not hold the gaps, and then price has rejected, right? But on the daily, I use the daily. I don't use the lower time frame. So as long as this is open, we are still gonna go higher. It's just consolidating, all right? So don't see this as prices going lower. This is what you need to pay attention to, because this is what is your resistance. Yes. Sorry, it's your support. Okay. This gap here is your support. As long as you're above it, price will continue going higher. Just wait for a buying idea to form for those that are day trading and scalping. For those that are long term, I don't know if you're buying in here, but long term, wait for it to give you a buying idea on the lower time frame. I think I don't like this equal low. I would have said where we are right now would be the best place to look for your entry, but I don't like equal lows. Okay. This would have been your range, and where we are would have been a perfect entry for longs. Okay, so it's up to you if you want to risk it, but I wouldn't, because I like this. I like the rate first. Okay, that's me. If this is you, by all means. Or patiently wait, let them go above this down candle, and then maybe. Even with that, I'm still not convinced because of this equal. I think I showed you right here. Okay. Anytime there's equal loss, I just don't like it. I would rather trade something else. Let's go to BTC. Same thing. I think narratives have not changed. Yesterday, I was saying don't do anything until price trades in here. And then here, wait for a buying pattern to appear. And then you can look for a buy. The same narrative is still there, hasn't changed. So watch here as we are. Let's see if we can get even the H4 to give one big candle to close above this, and that would be good for potential buy. All right. Ethereum, same thing. Nothing has changed since yesterday. It came back to that same area, and you can see prices kind of showing some rejection. Let's see, you've got about 2 hours and 15 minutes for those H4 candles to close. So within the next 2 hours, 15 minutes, if you get the close like this, right, that'd be perfect. And then look for the next candle to give you an entry to go up. Okay. Looking at hype, same thing. Yesterday, I was convinced the daily candle was going to close above both the weekly and the daily, and the price didn't, right? Now, since price did not do that, how would you know it's not going to do it? That was the H4, this. Okay, as soon as we closed, this candle closed, the clue, okay, is that we are above a previous candle's high or previous day's high. So if you're using the daily, it'll be the previous day. If you're using the weekly, it'll be the previous week. I don't like using the lower time frame because they all submit to the higher time frame, but you can use the same logic on this lower time frames. However, just know that the lower time frames really don't count much. So if you apply it on a M15 or H1 and it goes against you, I've just warned you. It does not work much on that lower time frame, but it does really work on the higher time frame, from the daily, weekly, monthly going. So when you're trading and you have a move up and it leaves a gap and it's on the daily, say the daily is closing your watching price, the daily is printing a candle like this, right, which is blue, like mine. And then in the lower time frame, there is a gap, the H4. Then you're expecting price to continue going higher. Then all of a sudden, something comes in and then it drops price. This daily candle ends up being something like this. Okay, drop down to the lower time frame and check. Because if there's a gap and they've closed through it, the next day is likely gonna open and then drop down like that and take out this low. Okay, so I've given you something. All right, so that's why you see hype rejecting, breaking this down candle. So as you can see, I've drawn something here. I think they might continue going down depending on what will happen today. Okay, on the daily, because this one needs to hold. Now, you understand why when price is rejecting and is going higher, I like gaps to hold. This is the reason why. Because if they don't hold, then there is a problem. Okay. But if it's meant to go up, most of the time, or pretty much all the time, it will go without, breaking the gaps that it leaves behind. So it's absolutely crucial. That's why we call it breakaway gaps. It's breaking price away. Anyway, so yeah, we're expecting them to hold this one. Now, Sometimes it can do this, and then by the end of the day, it will reject. That's fine because it still did not close below it. The price still did not close. The closing price is the most important thing, not when it's trading. Because when it's open, anything is possible. Because this candle can reject, and then by the time we close, it's all the way back up here. And then it will change the whole narrative. That's why you need to sit and wait for it to close first. Ripple, same thing. That's where we need to hold. As long as we are there, we expecting price to go higher. And yesterday, I highlighted that same area for us to find a trade idea. Don't do anything in there. This is the level. So let's see if we get a push above the H4 down candle. Then we look for the buy. If not, we are going to sit on our hands and wait. The upside still prevails as long as this gap is open. And there's no gap in here. So this is the one. So as long as this one is open, we will be expecting higher prices. This will just be another reaccumulation area, and then we'll be expecting them to expand up. Okay. So Ripple, higher prices. The upside objectives, I'm not mentioning them because it hasn't changed since yesterday. And then finally, let's go and look at our favorite one.
The tool.
Let's go.
Just it has a nice ring to it, you know?
Tool. Right. So the same thing is here, right? I think yesterday I was fully convinced we're going to close higher, and I gave you the down candle in here. Sorry, this up candle. There was a gap here, right? Now, price is so, how do I say it? It's so nice to see when you understand what I'm trying to show you here, okay? Because when it's not doing something, you know. So you're not going to sit there because there are traders that will hold on to winning trades for far too long, and there'll be traders that will hold on to losing trades far too long. Okay, and this gives you the benefit that when it's not going to work, you will know that it's not going to work. Let me drop down to the 15. Here, this was the gap, and this was the range. Okay, so as long as price is above the gap and the down candle, we will go up. As long as we break, so on the M15, this was meant to go up here. The moment we rejected and we went like that, that was it. But the H4 was still the saving grace, which was this one, because we have a down candle here in the gap. Hence, that would have been the range for price to hold, for price to go higher. Now, if they trade through it, then that up candle, this up candle, which was meant to be an up candle, is no more. Had this been even something like this, a green candle like this, it will still not go up. Okay. Now, I've not developed a theory yet, but if price prints a wick like this, and the theory, it's still, I would say, a theory in test. When the wick is bigger than 50% of the body, when the candle's wick, when it's bigger than 50% of the body, when you divide the body into two, it's bigger than that, price is likely going to go for the candle's low. So this candle, the low of it, price will go for it. Okay. But I'll talk more about it in the portal because there's much more to understand than what I just gave you. So right now, I think with what Tatsuo is doing, we need today not to close through this. And then we can expect it to go higher. If we don't close through this, we can expect them to go and attack previous day's high, this high here again. If we don't close through this. So watch this for today. If we close as we are today, then tomorrow, I think we will run for this high. Okay. And there's a simple theory behind it. If we take out a high and we reject, we will take out a low. If we take out a low and then we reject, we take out a high. It's a very simple theory. When price takes out a high, what do I mean by take out a high? This is a high. This candle, it takes it out and then rejects. When it rejects the high, price will go and take out a low. It can be this one, it can be that one. Okay, so previous day's high, previous day's low, previous week high, previous week low, previous month high, previous month low. So the reason why BTC went for a previous month high is because it took out. So I'm giving you why I was thinking the way I was thinking at the beginning of the year. The reason why I said price was going to come and take out this low before going up is because we took out this high and rejected. Hence, price would take out a previous month low, which was this one. Okay, that's why at the beginning of the year, I said we will come for this low first. And then once they took out this low, the reason why I said it was going to go up is because of the same thing. Because once we take out a low, we need to go and take out a high. Okay, it's a very simple logic that if you can study it, you will see how beautiful price is. Okay, so with Tatsuo, if we end up rejecting this, we go for that. Okay, and I think pretty much that will be all from me, unless Mr. Eagle has something to add.
Oh, hey. No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm always, like I said, super humbled by yours and SP Das analysis for, almost a decade now, right? Um, yeah, you know what, I got meetings back to back pretty much all day today with everyone, like from every department, and yeah, so I'm just like in super zone mode right now. And of course SP DOS is starting at in about 30 minutes, so
Yeah,
we'll be getting that on. Yeah, why don't you and I touch base a little later on, and then we can cap it off for now.
sure, sure. My son has
Awesome.
got a school play, so I'm actually
Oh,
going to my
nice.
son's school right now.
What's the play?
He's playing the Lord of the Town. I don't know what play it
Okay,
is, but he's playing the Lord of the Town and he has to say some few words.
love it. Is he shy?
Not really, no,
Yeah,
no.
okay, cool. Yeah,
He-
so it's gonna be a lot of fun,
He's
hey?
not, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome.
I'm going to the school right now.
Awesome. Well, yeah, have a good time, and yeah, record some videos, obviously, right?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Awesome.
All
All right,
right, so
brother.
I'll see you all tomorrow.
Take care.
All right, take care. Bye.